Hello, welcome to my MSS Grade channel. In this video, we're going to see how to connect to Azure DevOps from the PowerApps and get all the work items or the work items from based on the query which is already there in DevOps. You can see we are going to build PowerApps which looks like this, where it gets all the details from the Azure DevOps. Let's start doing it. You can see this is my Azure DevOps. I have an organization which is called Sentinel, my name, and there is a project called Power Platform. And inside the projects, I have these work items. And if I go back to the queries, I have created few of the queries. Let me show all the queries. So these are the queries which I have already created in my project, and I'm going to use one of the query to get the data and show it in the PowerApps. So for a discussion purpose, I've already created a mockup or a template of the PowerApps. This is a canvas app with a fixed or the predefined layout. You can see the top navigation on the left and the center, which you can see here. So right now I added only the components. So we need to wire up using the Azure DevOps. You can see here these are the components which are being added here. And pretty much it's a very simple layout. I added a combo box which will be filled with all the projects, and someone select the project, then click on this button. These are the buttons. You can see just a button. I just added a button with different color. That's it. We're going to link the query to it, and once someone click on this query, gallery will display all the items here. Okay. And this is the gallery of all the work items. You would see all the work items here. Let's start doing it. So first we need to connect it to the Azure DevOps. There is a connector here. Let me use the connector Azure DevOps. Okay, so I'm going to click on the Azure DevOps connector. If you are connecting it to the first time, you might need to log in with your Entra ID. So I have already logged in with the Entra ID, which is sentinel@mssgrade.dev. So sometime you might be asked to log in. So once you log in, it's up to you. Usually I rename it so that it becomes very simple. I renamed it to AZOps. It's up to you whether you rename it or not. You can directly use it. Let's go back to the screen, and in the screen startup, I'm going to add I'm going to get the list of all the projects. So clear collect. Let me name it as project collection, and I'm going to get all the projects. So now we are going to use that connector AZOps dot. You see here there are several methods available within the connector. You can even get the list of accounts. In my case, I have only one account, which is Sentinel, so I will not use this. So let's see the projects. There are list of projects available. The project will ask you for the account. In my case, Sentinel is my account. I get the detail here, and you need to use the value. So this REST API or the connector will return you the value from the JSON. So I'm just going to get the value and link it to. Okay, so value. Okay, I don't need to add one more. Okay, this is done. Let's save this, and the project collection we need to run. So right click and run on start. That will execute this method. Then the project collection will be filled. Let's see what is inside the project collection. Okay, good. I could see ID, name, and URL. So I am interested in the name. So what I do is that I get the project collection here, go back to your combo box or the drop down. I say always the combo box because I'm familiar with that. It's a drop down, and in the items you link it to the project collection, and make sure that in the text which is linked to it, it's a name. So I'm displaying all the name here, which is the Asian, and let's execute it. And I always run it as a canvas app, so it's easy to see. Okay, I have two projects, and the main one is the Power Platform. Okay, that's it. It's working now. Now move on to the next step. In this button, I need to get all the details of the work item. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get all the work items using the query. Again, clear collection, clear collect, and I'm going to use it as work item collection. And all the work item collection, again use the same Azure DevOps dot. And in this case, there is a function called list work items, but that is not used. List work items is not used here because list work items will take ID, list of all the IDs and the detail. If you know the IDs, then there is no point in getting the list work item. So instead I would use get query result, and this get query result, it takes several parameters. The project name we get it from the combo box. Remember, the combo box has the drop down has the value dot selected, and the selected dot name. Okay, so basically this name comes from this drop down box. And account on the query ID, let's come back. I will put it as null now for now. Account, I know that it is the only account which is Santhamal. Okay, and again this has to have value. You can see the value, and I'm closing this. For this query ID, to get the query ID of a particular query, go back to the Azure DevOps. You would see different. In my case, it is all work items, and you can see in the URL you get the GUID. That is the query ID. You should pass it into this function. So go back to your Azure DevOps, the PowerApps, paste your query ID here. That's it. Save this, and we'll try to execute once so that we know once it is filled in, we know what is the list of objects within. So I'm executing this. Let me use this. When you click on this, you can see here it starts to fill. And let's go back to this button and see here. Okay, if you see here, there are untyped. It gives you the count. The count is correct, but it is strange that it is untyped, and it asks you to use value, text, or other functions. Why it is strange? Because the value returned from this function or the connector, it is dynamic, meaning that it doesn't have a strict schema to tell that this object has a list of properties. That's why it shows untyped. Our job is to convert untyped into the typed one, or with a strict schema, so that we can able to consume it. See, example, if I start to use this work item collection into my gallery, so this is the gallery here, and if I try to map this work item, it shows the correct count. You can see here all the counts are correct. And let me try to bind one of the properties. So this property, if you try to bind, is there any title? It is wrong. There is no title. So if you type this item, you'll always have value, and the value, it doesn't have any value. So you don't know what is the property inside. So how do you know what are the properties have been filled in? It's kind of a mystery. Okay. So we are going to make this as a typed, so that the values are being filled. Let's convert that into a typed object. I'm going back to here. So to convert this untyped into typed object, first we need to know what are the properties being returned within the JSON. So I'm going to do one thing, which is set JSON text. I'm going to convert the return value into a JSON so that I can see what is inside the JSON object. And okay, so what it does is that it converts into a plain JSON string, and this string I'm going to show it in the HTML bar. So let me use HTML text. Okay, let's find out where that HTML is. There is a HTML text here. Rearrange it. Okay, this is just for debugging one time, probably then later after that you can delete it or hide it. Let's put this here. Okay, save it, and when we try to execute again and click on all item, okay, see here. So now I can see the JSON text, what is the value written. Copy this complete text, okay, copy this complete text and put it into the Visual Studio Code. So I've already copied here. You can see here, this is the original JSON file which has been written from the object. Why it could not identify as a typed object? You can see here, these are returned with ID and all the property, and when you go down, there is a tag property, extra tag property. So meaning that this type changes dynamically. So at runtime, it returns you the dynamic value, so it doesn't know what is the type. That's why it could not be able to understand what are the properties inside. So we're going to manually add those properties inside. Let me put it side by side so that is easy for us to see. Okay, I think it has gone to the other monitor. Okay, this way. Oops, it goes to the other monitor. Let me put it in this monitor, then slowly move it here. Okay, I placed it right away. And this is the property. These are the properties which we're going to make it as type property. Let me do this way, then it's easier. Let's close this and start changing into the type property. To convert that into a type property, we need to first collect an array. So if you see here, this is an array. This is an array of object. Okay, this is an array of object, and these are the properties. So first we need to again clear collect, and I'm going to name it as parsed collection, and this parsed collection I'm going to get it from each. Okay, for all, and then the work item collection. So the work item collection is a array. I'm going to iterate that each item and fill in. So close this and close. Always have the end one. So for each item, meaning that in that array I am going through each item and creating my own collection. So to create a collection, you need to start this, and inside that you should have your own properties declared. So in this scenario, you can see here I have ID, state, title. So I'm going to have my own title, and this title is a text. You need to convert or typecast into the type. So in my case, I know that title is a text. I am converting this text and literally get this value title, copy this value, and you should use this record, because for all you're taking the current record inside the for all. So meaning that this record that value dot, it doesn't know the property what it has, so you'll have to explicitly mention the property. Okay, we are using a single quote. Why? Because there is a dot here and there might be some other characters here, so better to be safe, we are adding a single quote here to specify the property name. Okay, that should match exactly with this text. Okay, see here this text. So now what happens is that I'm creating my own typed object which is inside this value. So you can see here this record, meaning that particular record, the current record is this record, and inside that you have to navigate to the value first. Inside the value you have this property. So there is two level, so you are doing it in multiple level. Okay, so title is there, and we should similarly add all other properties. I have created already the properties. Let me copy those for easy purpose, so that okay, these are the one. So I already copied all these. It is now ready. the only property which is missing is the tag. So you can see here, assign to I have converted into text. ID, I know it is value because it is an integer or a value. See here, ID I converted into a value, and type is a work item type. I just put it as a type. So now I need only the tag. What I'm going to do is that tags, as you can see here, tag doesn't appear here in this index, array index, but it appears only in further down in this index. So you can see here the tag appears only here. So you cannot directly say tags value of, it will throw error. You need to first identify whether first you need to find whether that property is there. For that I'm going to use this is blank or error. So whether it is blank or error, and copy the same. Let me copy the tag here, copy this tag and put the tag here and close this. If this gives you, if it is not an error, then you need to convert the tag into text. Then copy the same, this.system.tags, and if it is really giving you error, then put it as blank. So we just send the blank. Okay, if close the if condition, that's it. So now the whole property is ready and everything is saved inside the parsed collection, because we created this collection from this collection, from the untyped. This is the untyped collection and this is the typed collection for now. So now if we execute, let me save this. I usually save time to time so that it makes it easy for you. Okay, saved it, and I'm going to execute this one. Same Power Platform, all item. So now when I click on all item, it executes and it will parse it. Now the parsed collection will have predefined structure. See here, it is nicely arranged. You can even see the tags appears here. Now it is ready to be added here. So let me add it here. Instead of work item collection, I am going to change this to parsed collection. So the moment I change it to parsed collection, then I need to link these values. So right now, if I say dot, the title appears. You can see here, brilliant. So it comes in. So here I am going to put the status, and here I am going to do the type, and here I am going to do the tags. These are templates which I have already created for my design. So I just enable the property. So now if I execute and see, you can see nicely arranged, and only this one has the tag and these are like values here. So this is how you convert the untyped into type, and especially when you are connecting to Azure DevOps, you need to do this method so that you can get the values. Hopefully this is really helpful to you. If you like it, subscribe to my channel.